Hello, good afternoon, everybody. It is Thursday, September 9th. Oh, wow, I just realized, let's see, 2 months exactly after my mother's birthday to the day. Interesting. Okay, so, hello, everyone, and welcome to Purple Pinky Promises. I have kind of a smattering of products thrown here out on the table in front of me to kind of show you just a visual of what I've used for the project that I'm going to show you today. I am not making anything live today. I'm actually going to do a little walkthrough of an album that I've made. And I can't remember I can't remember when it was that I had promised you that I would bring you the album when I made it. I can't remember when it was, maybe several months ago. I told you I was working on a project and I wanted to show it to you. I know my banner is still in the works. It's no longer spring. We're going into fall. So we've passed summer. So perhaps maybe next spring I can finish that and show that to you. But anyway, regardless, this is a project that I did get finished, and I wanted to finish it on my mother's birthday. And I didn't get it finished on my mother's birthday. I actually finished it, was it yesterday? It was yesterday that I finished it. And I believe there was a reason that I didn't get it finished on my mother's birthday, because the day after my mother's birthday, I actually ran into one of her high school friends. And I can't really go into detail about how that happened because it happened while I was working. But so I was able to share. I kind of had this on my desk, little bits and pieces of it. And I would pull it. I actually had it in a little drawer, and I pull it out and work on it as I could. And it was beginning to frustrate me that I couldn't get it finished. And so I was about ready to just put it away for a while. And I'm glad I didn't, because I was able to show her friend, whom I haven't seen in years. And yeah, it was healing for both of us. It really was. So if I had finished it, I wouldn't have had it when I saw her. And yeah, sorry to be so mystical, but or sorry to make it such a mystery, but I am really, really glad that I waited. It wasn't on purpose, but I'm glad that I didn't put it away when I thought I wanted to put it away. So, but I did get it finished, and I really learned a lot in the process of making this album. There was a lot that went on. So today is going to be probably a very emotional revealing, because I'm going to talk a little bit about how I processed some things while I was making this. And scrapbooking can do that. If you're scrapbooking someone that has passed, it really can help you heal. It can help you process things that maybe you didn't realize you needed to process. And I discovered some things that I needed to process. So I'm going to pull the album out and do the reveal. But I hope you're here, Lindy, because if you are, say hello to me, because I just want to do a shout out to Lindy. It was Mother's Day weekend that we went to visit with them, and she took me on this journey through different, I know this sounds really morbid, but it wasn't. It was actually really awesome, through different graveyards of people in my family that I didn't know that their graves existed there. I had never been taken in my childhood or growing up. Nobody had ever taken me to these grave sites. And Lindy did research. And hi, sweetie, I'm talking about you. And she did some research on my family and found these places. And I've never had anybody do that for me, and it was just very special. And it really got me to thinking about how important it is to know our families and how important it is to document the history, because I didn't have that for these family members. I didn't know a lot about these people. I knew of some of them, but some of them I had no clue. And it was interesting. I learned so much, and it's what set me on this journey. Whew, what a mess. It's what set me on this journey. Excuse me while I am really crooked here, folks. So sorry. Let's get straight. Oh, no, let's not go that way. Let's go this way. Much better. Sorry about that. I had all that product sitting there. But it put me on this journey of scrapbooking my mother's memories from my mother's high school time. Sorry about this, guys. I'm going to go up. Well, it's right in my face. That's why I'm wanting to move it, because I don't like it in my face. I'm afraid I'm going to whack my head on it. Whoops, that's not what I wanted either. Give me a sec, and I'll come back to you. Well, it's not going to move. All right. It's going to stay in my face. All right. Sometimes we just have to let go, right? And let it be what it is. Let me move this, though. That's driving me nuts because it's crooked. Okay. So I want to show you this album. I decided that I was going to start taking my mom and dad's pictures and my family pictures, and from me growing up, from him growing up, his family, and I'm going to start scrapbooking them. I've also decided I'm not going to be rushed about the timing of everything either. I really believe that to finish things in the proper time is important, and to really soak in the process of scrapbooking is also very important, because I learned a lot about myself during this, and I am going to get emotional. So if you're a person that doesn't like the emotional aspect of any of this, you might just leave and watch another day, but you're always welcome to come. So I'm going to reveal this album. See, I'm already emotional. It's a work and art of love, of honoring my mother. And in the process of this, and for those of you who don't know, my mother passed away, and she passed away back in 2003. And this album really taught me a lot about myself, and it was inspiring to me. My mother became a very inspiring person to me by doing this. And I think that I should have brought Kleenex down here. I think sometimes we take on the opinions of others, and we let that impact our own opinions. And I will tell you, my mother was mentally ill. And making this scrapbook took away a lot of the shame of that. And I'm able to openly talk about my mother's mental illness. And I feel like I can really appreciate my mother. And I feel it's really been an interesting journey for me, because I came out of this having so much more respect for my mother. And I came out of this encouraged. And I feel like my mother has inspired me to do better and be better, because she overcame a lot. My mother was deaf, and she was mentally ill. That's a lot of hurdles to jump. And sometimes people who are mentally ill are painted in a horrible picture. My mother-in-law and I had a great relationship. I don't have anything negative to tell you about my mother as far as our relationship goes. But there are other people in the family that didn't have that experience. I witnessed it, but I also witnessed, they weren't as kind back. And sometimes, some of that stuff probably occurred when I was younger or before I was even born. And so I don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg, but to me, that's not even important to me. What is important to me is my journey with my mother. And that's what's important to me. And how I want to portray her, because I want to portray her as a strong person because she overcame a lot. And I don't want to portray her as this person that a lot of people have portrayed her. And so she and I had a very special relationship, and I want to honor that, and I want to honor her. And I've had some struggles starting a business. It's not easy, and sometimes, some days, there's the strong desire to just chuck it all because it's hard work, and it's really hard work when you're still working a full-time job. So you feel like you're burning the candle at both ends. But I'm going to tell you that in the process of making this, I really was inspired that, if my mother can overcome all of those obstacles, these are such small obstacles to overcome for me. And so I'm not going to talk about product. That's why I did the showing of product. I will post links in the description of what I used if you're interested in any of that. But this is not a make today. This is to encourage you to do something, do a project that maybe perhaps might encourage you to be inspired, and that you might learn a little bit about yourself in that process and learn about the person that you're scrapbooking. So I'm just going to encourage you with that today, and I'm trying to figure out where to put this. Okay, so I will tell you that the base of this is, most of these dies are Dare to be Artsy dies, which is kind of a nice little surprise. These are the slimline envelope, but this is the base of it. And the slimline, I said I wasn't going to do the sales pitch, but I want to just kind of shout out the surprise element here, is that's where the majority of this comes from, are these two sets of dies. And then, of course, the Prima Marketing products, the Watercolor Floral. So that's where most of this comes from. So on the front, I don't know if you can see it, but it says "Shine Like a Star." My mother's middle name, Estelle. It means star. And that is a chipboard piece from the Prima Marketing. So I had to pick that because, and I will tell you that right there did a lot for me, because as I began to make this, I realized my mother was a star. She was very much a star. She was a star in her school. She was a star amongst her peers. And she was an incredible person, an incredibly brave person, too. I've got some fluff here that, Lindy, you might recognize. You gave me this. I don't even know where it comes from, but I just thought I put birds on there because she's free. She's free as a bird. Sorry, Estelle means star. And my mother is free as a bird. And I love this little fluffy because it reminds me of birds' feathers. And so that was kind of, and also butterflies represent new life. So my mother no longer struggles with the things that she struggled with, and that my mother is whole. She is free. So that's kind of where all of this comes from. She was a shining star. And this is really interesting too. This paper right up here, I don't know if that's a 2 or a 9 or what, but November is my birth month. And so I had to put that on there because of the correlation. I know, isn't that sweet? I loved it. So my birth month is on here, and I just kind of wanted this to connect. I chose that for the front page on purpose because of my birth month being November and my connection with my mother. Okay, so we're just going to kind of do a walkthrough here. And some of these people I don't know. Some of these people I do know. And I already mentioned that I ran into one of the individuals in while I was working. But these do open, and you'll notice throughout I didn't do any of my journaling by any of the pictures. I just wanted it to be beautiful. I wanted to journal, and so I did my journaling on some little tags that I made, and because I want to leave this legacy for my children. I felt, Lindy, you inspired me to do that for my children. I felt it was really important. So here I am, I'm blubbering in it. I'm sorry. Anyway, so my mother was a bridesmaid and one of her friends. These are friends from school. So this says Missouri School for the Deaf, if you can't see that. Excuse me while I go grab a Kleenex. Good gravy. I'll try to do better. Try to stop the blubbering. I can't help myself. I'm that person. That's who I am. So this was, I don't know who the individuals are in these pictures, but the pictures that have writing on the back, I did take some acetate, folded it in half, and I preserved the writing. And I just put them together with washi tape. They're being held together with washi tape. I tried to do dies at first, and that just didn't work out very well. But yeah, there's, so these, my mother was a cheerleader. So these are the pictures that have the backside writing. And I decided that was how I was going to preserve all of that. And yeah, my mother was homecoming queen. She was also in the literary society with a very famous deaf person. You can Google Jack Gannon. He's written a lot of books about deaf culture. So my mother went to school with Jack Gannon. It's kind of cool. Anyway, if you're not familiar with deaf culture, it's kind of a big deal. So, and my mother was her English was really awesome. So that's one of the things that I learned in all of this. Well, not learned, but I already knew that reminded me. All of her friends would tell me, your mother was, I remember being at my mother's funeral and her friends coming to me and saying, your mother was so helpful to all of us when we were growing up. Her English skills were so strong. So we all came to her and had her help us write our papers. She was good at math. She helped us with our math. She was always such a helpful person. And so going through this helped me remember all of this, these things about my mother. And so I journaled those things for my children. And so these are and I love these old pictures. They're standing outside in front of the school here. This is my mother's homecoming picture. I'll pull it up a little closer so that you can see it. And she was the star. She was chosen to be homecoming queen. And here she is with a friend. And so here it is. This is part of what I learned in this process about myself, is that if my mother had what it took to overcome obstacles, I have what it takes too. And she's inspired me. Just going through this, she has been an inspiration to me. And I love this. She wasn't looking for a knight. She was looking for a sword. So this is the dance. And there she is. And I do know Harold. She's dancing with Harold. And I have met Harold on a number of occasions. And so, yep, that wasn't my father. My father actually was not at the school at the same time she was at the school. My dad's much older than my mother. So, yeah. So confidence has no competition. And that is something that I needed to also be reminded of. That when you're a little peon in this business, you can start to feel a little frustrated. But confidence in yourself means you don't have to compete. Just be you and be who you are and be authentic. And I love all of this: gentle, kind, patient, graceful, full of joy. Good things take time. And if that's who you are, if you're a gentle, kind, and patient, and graceful, and full of joy, it takes time, because not everyone appreciates those qualities about you. So good things, and to build those character traits, it takes time. So anyway, here are some more really cool pictures. I'll pull these up. There are some friends of hers on the cheer squad. My mother was a cheerleader. Really cute pictures of my mom with her friends at the school. Just really, really cute. My mom, another picture of her right in front of this card. Look how cute she is. I love it. So, yep, be you, be yourself. Yep, I love that. And then this is interesting. This is her. She'd done some shopping with a friend, apparently. I've been downtown Fulton too, and I've shopped the streets of Fulton. That's where she went to school. And I put this little envelope here because I was like, what were they shopping for? I wonder, was it Christmas? Because it looks like they're wearing coats. Were they shopping for Christmas presents? I don't know. But one of the things, was she taking home with her? Was she mailing something? I don't know. But I don't know the story behind the picture, but I will say, and there's more journaling, of course, in this as well. I've journaled some things. I have more stuff memories that I jotted down because I had more to say, and I'll add more as time goes on. If I remember, what I want to say, I can always add it in there at a later time. Anyway, I thought about how communication was so different back then. They wrote a lot of letters back and forth. I know my mom and her mom wrote back and forth quite a bit. She wrote to her sisters, to her friends back home as well, the friends that she grew up with. My mother wasn't born deaf. She was 3.5 when she lost her hearing, so she had friends that in her neighborhood that she grew up with. One of the things I want to say about this is that there was a fire in the house when my mother was little, and she lost a lot of the pictures that she had growing up. And I think maybe that some people might have had some extra pictures of her, so they donated it to the family. So there's very few pictures of my mother, baby pictures. There's very little childhood pictures of my mother around. So these are the pictures that I'm cherishing, or the pictures that she got when she was at the school. So, yeah. So she was also, this is another thing, my mother was chosen to help with the younger ones. So the dorm mothers chose a very responsible person amongst the older girls to help them with the little ones. And my mother was one that was chosen to help with the younger ones. So it's just all about the little things. And just some more pictures of my mom and her friends from school. I love these old pictures. I love the way they're dressed. I like looking at their shoes, their clothes, their coats. I love that. Yeah. So fearlessly authentic. My mother was very authentic. She never made any bones about what she felt. There were no bones about what she felt. She was very honest and very straightforward. That's kind of part of being deaf too. That's deaf culture. Yeah, so so I have never give up, and I kind of like made a little phrase out of this, and it says, never give up your shine, wild beauty. So my mother was kind of a wild beauty. She was very, very beautiful. She's the one that's in the center of this picture here. Beautiful woman. You'll see maybe a bigger picture of her here in a second or so, but yeah. So anyway, yeah, I like that. So this is part of the healing process for me. I wanted to say something about my mom, and I thought, well, it's not right to say her mind is strong because she was mentally ill, but then I realized, you know what? It took a strong mind to overcome a lot of the obstacles that she faced. So I know, aren't old pictures wonderful? I love them so much. They just bring back like thoughts of a time when life was a little more simple. I love old pictures. So her soul is fierce and her heart is brave. And this kind of goes back to the cover of the book. Like, she's free. Her mind is strong. She is fierce and brave, and she's free. So, Yeah. So you've got this, just a girl growing wings, more birds, more feathers, and then a picture of the school. So, yeah, kind of signifying the airmail and the stamps and like journey of her journey there in her school years, and the airmail thing kind of signifying how life was simple back then. That's how they communicated, was by letter. Anyway, okay, and so this was my mother. This was a preserved picture, a picture that somebody must have donated of my mother. This was my mother when she was a little girl. That's her little childhood friend. This is my mother right here, and her little childhood friend. And I just think my mother was such a beautiful, oh gosh, she was so beautiful. Just absolutely amazing. My mother, she was so bright. I mean, I thought about all the things about my mother, and like when she was 18, she left home and came to downtown Kansas City to work at Sears and Roebuck, and to leave home being deaf. And, it was different being a woman back then. It's not like it is today. The opportunities were much different. The obstacles were much different then than they are now. And so, wow, she was so brave. What an incredible thing to do. So I had to celebrate my mother, and I ended it kind of like, yeah, you've got this. Mom had it. You've got it too. You can do this. This is a journey that you got it. So here's another tag. Same thing. Kind of like my reflection on the journal, the memory book. And like I said, and I put it on rings instead of the a cinch, because I feel like as time goes on, I might end up making more pages, and I might end up splitting this between my children. So, yeah, there we have it. So, there it is, folks. the album that I have waited to reveal. So thank you, Lindy, for your inspiration. I really appreciate it. And thanks for hanging in there with me, guys, through the blubbering and the tears. I will post a picture of this. I am thinking that I will post a picture maybe on my blog. Of course, there'll be a picture on the YouTube, but I might do a blog on how I put it together. I don't know. That's a lot. I've got a lot on my plate for this week. I'm getting ready to do set up a table at a crop as a vendor. So this Saturday, and I've got make and takes and stuff that I'm in the middle of, and I've got to pack up stuff and get ready to go. So I probably won't get that blog done today, but I most definitely, if I do end up doing it, it will be next week sometime that I get that done. And not sure if I will do a blog on it, but I will post links to all the products. And yeah, so thanks for joining me today. And I sure hope that you have a blessed rest of your week and a wonderful weekend. Take some time to craft. It just seems like the last couple of weeks have really been some good moments for me to sit still and be quiet and just really regain focus on, oh, thank you, Lindy. You were a large part of this inspiration, a large part of it. You've always been such an inspiration to me crafting. Thank you. So I just really do encourage you to craft. It really is very therapeutic. I feel like it is. This definitely was a process that really helped me sort out my feelings towards my mother, and really grasp a good connection with who she really was.
It was really important to me, and I feel like it's important to our family legacy that I did this. And I will continue to do that with other people in the family as well. So try it. Even maybe with somebody that perhaps you need some healing from that relationship. I think it would be a really good process to go through. Anyway, so have a great day, and we'll catch you again here next week, every Thursday, 3 o'clock Central Time. And take care. Bye-bye.